contract is really to create a contemplative location that is solemn, that, you know, brings the history to people. And here in Maine, it's so perfect because, you know, a lot of people that live in rural Maine will never get to see the wall in D.C. And so to be able to bring it here is just such an honor. And, you know, we're a history museum and we care about education, so it really connects all the dots for us here at Knox Museum. It's painful and healing at the same time, which I guess is, you know, a definition of life, right? So what our goal here has been, our underlying goal is to connect veterans to veterans, because really that's where the help comes from. You know, we can only do so much. We provide the situation, we provide the opportunity, and we get all the people here, and they're finding each other and they're making connections.
We're free because so many gave so much that we could be. The moment our flag, the American flag, doesn't fly, there's no freedom anywhere in the world. Our people need to understand that it is our military, it is our country that has kept freedom alive in other countries. They can't do it without us.
Place and date, Quang Thanh Province, Republic of Vietnam, 19 March 1969. Entered, service at Portland, Maine, born 24 June 1948, Washington, D.C. Citation, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty. Specialist 4th Class McCann distinguished himself while serving as a medical aid man with Company A, when the lead elements of his company came under heavy fire from a well-fortified enemy positions. 3 soldiers fell seriously wounded. Specialist McCann, with complete disregard for his safety, left his covered position and ran through intense enemy fire to the side of one of the wounded, administered first aid, and then carried him back to safety. He returned through the hail of fire to the side of a second wounded man, although painfully wounded by an exploding mortar round. While returning the wounded man to secure position, Specialist McCann refused medical attention and heroically ran back through heavy enemy fire toward his remaining wounded comrades. He fell mortally wounded, and before he could rescue the last man.
Today I received the Medal of Honor flag, and the reason it's so significant is because what I will be able to do is pass this on at some time to a place where young people in this country can understand what the Medal of Honor was and what these young men fought for in Vietnam. They fought for freedom. I take this from Wreaths Across America. There was a little excerpt that said a person dies twice. Once when they breathe their last breath, and once when their name is mentioned for the last time. And I'm within hopes that Tom's name will be remembered forever.
It's a great thing for all of the civilian public who never really understood, because this was a politician war. This wasn't a war for the glory of America, and a lot of people just didn't understand. Thank you for coming now.
Thank you.
A lot of people just didn't understand why we were there and why we left the way we did without being allowed to win. And that's one of the biggest problems that all of us veterans have, is not being allowed to win. And so it's helped a lot of these civilians just to come. And thank you folks for coming today. Awful glad you could be here. And so it's been good for them.
It's a time in history that we must never forget how horribly treated our soldiers were when they returned home, that it might never ever happen again. And that's part of our mission, to make sure that the treatment they received coming home from Vietnam will never happen to our men and women again.